In today's story, we dive deep into the poignant and heart-wrenching tale of Ethan and Ava, a couple whose love and trust are put to the ultimate test. Betrayal and Redemption. The journey of a cheating wife and her forgiving husband explores the devastating impact of infidelity and the challenging path to healing and reconciliation. Join us as we unravel their emotional journey, filled with moments of despair, unexpected twists, and the resilient power of love. Get ready to be moved by a story that captures the complexities of human relationships and the enduring strength of forgiveness. Ethan Parker stepped into his truck, the cool breeze of a Santa Monica evening brushing against his face. The sun was setting, casting an orange and pink glow over the beach, the sound of the waves crashing softly in the background. It was the last time he would leave what was once his family home. He held a brass sign that read, "Parker," a remnant of a once happy family that now seemed like a distant memory. With a heavy heart, he tossed the sign into the drain, hearing it clatter against the concrete before it disappeared into the murky water below. The metallic clink resonated deeply with Ethan, symbolizing the end of an era and the shattering of his hopes and dreams. Ethan closed the truck door and took a deep breath, his heart heavy with a mix of fear, loneliness, and worthlessness. He had always been a man of optimism, but now his life felt irreparably broken. As he drove away, the last rays of the sun reflected off the rearview mirror, signaling the end of a chapter. It was the summer of 2022, and Ethan found himself sitting on the sandy shores of Santa Monica, watching the waves dance under the sunlight. The rhythmic motion of the water created a kaleidoscope of colors that seemed to mesmerize him. The ocean had a way of making him feel at peace, a stark contrast to the turmoil he had experienced 7 years prior. Ethan realized that what had truly broken his heart was not just the betrayal but the language used to convey it. Words like love and trust had become hollow, mere symbols thrown around carelessly. He thought back to the day he met Ava Mitchell at a faculty party. Ethan had been attending evening forums in the English department, hoping to meet someone who could understand his passion for literature. It was at one of these events that he accidentally bumped into Ava, a tall, slender woman with golden hair and a confident demeanor. She had surprised him by recognizing his work. "Hey, I read your article comparing Austen and Salinger," Ava said, a genuine smile spreading across her face. Ethan looked up, startled. "Really? I didn't think anyone actually read those. I'm impressed." Ava laughed softly, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "Well, you convinced Professor Gonzalez, and me, for that matter." The thematic parallels were fascinating. Ethan couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. He had spent countless hours writing that article, hoping it would resonate with someone. "Thank you. That means a lot. I'm Ethan, by the way." "Ava," she replied, extending her hand. "Ava Mitchell. Nice to meet you." From that moment on, Ethan and Ava began to see more of each other. They attended various faculty-sponsored events, engaging in deep conversations about literature, life, and everything in between. Ethan admired Ava's intellect and her ability to see the humor in even the most challenging situations. Their connection was undeniable, and it wasn't long before they exchanged phone numbers and started going out on dates. One evening, after a particularly engaging discussion at a local coffee shop, Ethan walked Ava back to her dorm room. As they reached her door, he hesitated, unsure of what to say. "Would you like to come in for a drink?" Ava asked, breaking the silence. Ethan nodded, his heart pounding with anticipation. Inside, they talked for hours, the conversation flowing effortlessly. Ava's dorm room was cozy, filled with books and art, a reflection of her creative mind. As the night wore on, they found themselves sitting closer and closer, the chemistry between them palpable. By the spring of 2016, Ethan and Ava were officially a couple. They spent every moment they could together, exploring the city, attending literary events, and sharing their dreams and aspirations. Ethan had never felt this connected to anyone before, and he knew that Ava was someone special. In the summer of 2017, Ethan proposed to Ava during a romantic getaway to the Napa Valley. They were walking through a vineyard at sunset, the sky painted with hues of orange and pink, much like the evening he had left his old life behind. As they stood on a hill overlooking the rows of grapevines, Ethan got down on one knee and presented Ava with a ring. "Ava, you are the light of my life. Will you marry me?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Tears filled Ava's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Ethan, yes." she exclaimed, throwing her arms around him. They celebrated their engagement with a bottle of wine, toasting to a future filled with love and happiness. Ethan and Ava were married in a beautiful ceremony on the beach, surrounded by friends and family. The sound of the waves crashing in the background provided the perfect soundtrack to their vows. They promised to love, honor, and cherish each other for the rest of their lives. Their honeymoon in Hawaii was a dream come true. They explored the islands, hiked through lush rainforests, and swam in crystal-clear waters. Every moment was filled with joy and excitement, and they returned home more in love than ever. Back in Santa Monica, they settled into married life. Ethan continued his work restoring classic turn-of-the-century homes, while Ava completed her internship and landed a position at a downtown cancer center. They lived in a charming house near the beach, where they often spent their evenings watching the sunset and talking about their day. 2 years into their marriage, Ethan and Ava began discussing the possibility of starting a family. They both wanted children and dreamed of raising them in a loving and nurturing environment. Ethan's business was thriving, and Ava's career was taking off, making it the perfect time to expand their family. "We should start planning," Ava said one evening as they sat on the porch, watching the waves. Ethan nodded, smiling at the thought. "I agree. I can't wait to be a dad." They spent the next few months preparing their home for a new addition, painting the nursery and buying baby clothes. The excitement and anticipation brought them even closer together, and their love for each other grew stronger with each passing day. However, as the years went by, subtle changes began to appear in their relationship. Ava's job became more demanding, requiring long hours and frequent travel. She often came home exhausted, with little energy left for Ethan. He noticed that she seemed distant, her mind always occupied with work. Ethan tried to be understanding, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He missed the days when they would stay up late, talking about their dreams and laughing at each other's jokes. Now, their conversations were brief and filled with tension. One evening, as Ethan opened a bottle of beer, Ava's criticism caught him off guard. "You know, not every man does it like that," she said quietly. Ethan looked at her, confused. "Like what?" "Open the drawer, take out the bottle opener, then close the drawer." "You could just leave the drawer open," she replied, her tone clipped. For a man who loved to talk, Ethan did something unusual at that moment. He said nothing. Instead, he took his beer and headed towards his makeshift desk, an old wooden door sitting on 2 filing cabinets. He realized that life felt like a maze he had once seen in a dream, where touching any candle would return him to the vestibule, no matter how far he was from that moment in space and time. Her criticism, though gentle and seemingly insignificant, led him to a dark place he had been visiting more frequently lately. It was a confined space between that conversation years ago and the bottle opener discussion today. Ethan couldn't help but feel that their marriage was beginning to resemble a shadow of what it once was. Ethan thought back to their early years together, remembering how he had invited Ava out for drinks after their first meeting. They had spent the evening talking and laughing, and she had returned to his vintage dorm room for some serious making out. By their third date, their passion had become irresistible, and they became exclusive. In their junior year at the University of California, Los Angeles, Ethan and Ava were busy with their studies and careers. They spent weekends together, but during the week, they were often apart. Despite the distance, their bond remained strong. Ethan worked for a construction company during the summer, honing his skills in precision woodwork. He called Ava every other night and kept in touch through social media. Their relationship flourished, and they settled into a comfortable routine. After graduation, they rented a beach house in Malibu, using Ethan's father's credit card. They spent their days making love and their nights partying with friends. On the last Saturday before the semester started, Ava asked Ethan a question that had been on her mind. "So, we will graduate soon," she began, her voice filled with uncertainty. "Are you leaving me already?" Ethan joked, masking his own fear with a light-hearted tone. "No, but I got an internship in San Francisco," Ava said. "There aren't many publishing houses out there." "Great. I'll get some work during the day and work on the great American novel at night," Ethan replied. Ava thought for a moment before agreeing. Later, as they lay in bed, Ethan pushed her gently. "Would you leave me if I couldn't go to San Francisco?" "You'll never know," Ava said, turning around. After a few seconds, she turned back. "Of course not, stupid. I keep hoping that you care about me enough to stay." Her parents had divorced during her first year of college, leaving her with trust issues and a fear of abandonment. Ethan reassured her, but deep down, he worried about their future. They graduated quickly, and Ava began her year-long internship at the University of California, San Francisco. Ethan had planned to pursue a law degree but abandoned the idea after seeing the oversaturated market. Instead, he focused on his summer job, realizing its potential for restoration rather than contract repairs. His business took off, and he proposed to Ava with a large stone ring. She jumped into his arms, all smiles. Their wedding was a fairy tale event held at a picturesque vineyard in Napa Valley. They honeymooned in Hawaii, capturing every moment on social media. Returning to their careers, Ava found a group of colleagues who shared her holistic medicine philosophy, while Ethan's business flourished. They bought a charming house in Santa Monica, equidistant from Ethan's work on the coast and Ava's job in Los Angeles. Ava completed her internship, followed by 3 years of medical school and a year and a half of residency. She landed a job as a physician's assistant at a top-notch hospital in Los Angeles. Ethan and Ava's life seemed perfect from the outside. They had successful careers, a beautiful home, and a strong relationship. However, the subtle changes in their dynamic hinted at underlying issues that would soon come to the surface. Ethan and Ava's marriage started like a dream. They moved into a cozy house in Santa Monica, a short walk from the beach where they had first fallen in love. Their days were filled with laughter, shared meals, and long walks along the shore. Ethan's restoration business flourished, earning him respect and steady income. Ava's dedication at the cancer center quickly garnered her admiration from colleagues and patients alike. In the first 2 years, their love grew deeper. They spent weekends exploring California's vineyards, hiking trails, and quaint coastal towns. Their bond seemed unbreakable, and the future looked bright. However, as time passed, subtle changes began to seep into their lives. Ava's job at the downtown cancer center demanded increasingly long hours. She often came home late, exhausted, and emotionally drained from dealing with patients suffering. Ethan noticed a gradual shift in her demeanor. She was becoming distant, her vibrant energy waning. One evening, as Ethan prepared dinner, Ava walked in, looking more tired than usual. "Hey, love," he greeted her, a warm smile on his face. "How was your day?" Ava sighed, dropping her bag by the door. "Exhausting, as always. The new treatment trials are demanding all my time." Ethan set the table and poured them each a glass of wine. "You need to take it easy, Ava. You're doing an amazing job, but you also need to take care of yourself." "I know," she replied, forcing a smile. "It's just, there's so much to do, and I feel like I'm the only one who can handle it." Ethan reached out, taking her hand in his. "We're in this together. Don't forget that." Despite Ethan's reassurances, the distance between them grew. Ava's late nights at the hospital became more frequent, and Ethan often found himself eating dinner alone. He immersed himself in his work, restoring old houses, but the emptiness at home gnawed at him. One night, as he opened a bottle of beer, Ava's voice cut through the silence. "You know, not every man does it like that," she remarked. Ethan looked up, puzzled. "Like what?" "Open the drawer, take out the bottle opener, and then close the drawer. You could just leave it open," she explained, her tone sharp. Ethan was taken aback. For a man who loved to talk, he found himself at a loss for words. He took his beer and retreated to his makeshift desk, an old wooden door perched on 2 filing cabinets. Her criticism, though minor, felt like a dagger, deepening the chasm between them. The following months saw Ava becoming even more absorbed in her work. She spent weekends at conferences, leaving Ethan to fend for himself. He tried to fill the void with hobbies and socializing with friends, but nothing could replace the intimacy they once shared. One weekend, while Ava was away at a medical symposium in San Diego, Ethan decided to surprise her by renovating their living room. He stripped the walls, repainted them a calming shade of blue, and restored an antique bookshelf he had found at a flea market. He hoped the transformation would bring some joy back into their lives. When Ava returned, she seemed pleased but distant. "It looks great, Ethan. You did a wonderful job," she said, pecking him on the cheek. Ethan searched her eyes for a spark of the old Ava, but all he found was fatigue and a hint of detachment. "Thanks. I thought it might make the place feel more like home," he replied, masking his disappointment. As the months passed, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Ava's behavior grew more erratic. She began wearing more perfume, changing her wardrobe, and spending more time away from home. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities, but he pushed his suspicions aside, chalking it up to the pressures of her demanding job. One evening, as they sat in the living room, Ethan broached the subject. "Ava, is everything okay? You seem different lately." Ava looked up from her laptop, her expression guarded. "What do you mean? I don't know. You've been working so much, and it feels like we're drifting apart," Ethan said, his voice tinged with concern. Ava sighed, closing her laptop. "I'm just stressed, Ethan. The job, the patients, it's a lot to handle. But I'm fine, really." Ethan nodded, but the unease in his heart persisted. He decided to trust her words, hoping that things would improve with time. One fateful night, Ethan's suspicions were confirmed. Ava had left her phone on the kitchen counter while she took a shower. A notification popped up, and Ethan's curiosity got the better of him. He glanced at the screen and saw a message from someone named Liam. His heart pounded as he unlocked the phone and read the messages. They were filled with flirtatious banter and plans to meet up. Ethan felt a wave of nausea wash over him. His worst fears had come true. When Ava returned, Ethan confronted her. "Ava, who's Liam?" Ava froze, her eyes widening in shock. "What do you mean? I saw the messages, Ava." "Don't lie to me," Ethan said, his voice shaking with anger and hurt. Ava's face paled. "Ethan, it's not what you think. He's just a colleague. We're working on a project together." "Don't insult my intelligence," Ethan snapped. "I know what I saw. How long has this been going on?" Ava's shoulders slumped, and she sank into a chair. "It started a few months ago. I didn't mean for it to happen. I'm so sorry, Ethan." Ethan's world shattered. The woman he loved, the life they had built together, all seemed to crumble before his eyes. "Why, Ava? Why did you do this?" Tears streamed down Ava's face. "I don't know. I was feeling overwhelmed, and Liam was there. He made me feel understood, appreciated." Ethan shook his head, unable to comprehend her betrayal. "I thought we were in this together, Ava. I thought we had something special." "We did," Ava whispered. "We do. But I've made a terrible mistake." In the days that followed, Ethan struggled to process what had happened. He felt a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. Ava tried to apologize, but her words felt hollow. The trust between them had been shattered, and Ethan didn't know if it could ever be repaired. Ethan began spending more time away from home, immersing himself in his work. He restored old houses with a fervor, hoping the physical labor would numb the pain in his heart. He confided in his friend Ryan, who offered support and a listening ear. One evening, as they sat in Ryan's backyard, Ethan poured out his feelings. "I don't know what to do, Ryan. I loved her so much, and she just threw it all away." Ryan nodded sympathetically. "I can't imagine how hard this must be for you. But you need to take care of yourself, Ethan. You deserve better." Ethan sighed, staring at the stars. "I just don't know if I can forgive her. Every time I look at her, all I see is betrayal." "Forgiveness isn't something you can force," Ryan said. "It takes time, and sometimes it doesn't happen. You need to figure out what's best for you." Ethan decided to seek clarity and distance from the situation. He booked a solo trip to the mountains, hoping the fresh air and solitude would help him think. He hiked through the forests, climbed rugged trails, and spent nights under the stars, reflecting on his life and his marriage. On the last night of his trip, as he sat by a campfire, Ethan felt a sense of peace wash over him. He realized that he couldn't change what had happened, but he could control how he responded to it. He decided to confront Ava and have an honest conversation about their future. When Ethan returned home, he found Ava sitting on the porch, looking forlorn. He took a deep breath and approached her. "Ava, we need to talk," he said, his voice steady but firm. Ava looked up, her eyes filled with remorse. "I know. I've been waiting for you." They sat down together, and Ethan began. "I've had some time to think, and I need to know the truth. Do you still love me, Ava?" Tears welled up in Ava's eyes. "Yes, Ethan. I love you more than anything. I made a horrible mistake, and I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose you." Ethan's heart ached, but he needed to be honest. "I love you too, Ava. But I don't know if I can ever trust you again. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and right now, ours is broken." Ava nodded, her tears falling freely. "I understand. I'll do whatever it takes to make things right. I'll go to counseling, I'll quit my job if I have to. I just want us to be okay." Ethan took her hand, feeling the weight of their shared history. "I appreciate that, Ava. But this isn't something that can be fixed overnight. We both have a lot of healing to do, and it's going to take time." Ava squeezed his hand, her voice trembling. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I don't want to lose you, Ethan." In the weeks that followed, Ethan and Ava embarked on a journey of healing. They attended couples counseling, where they learned to communicate openly and honestly. They set boundaries and made a commitment to rebuilding their trust. Ethan focused on his work, finding solace in restoring old houses. The physical labor and attention to detail provided an outlet for his emotions. Ava, true to her word, cut back on her hours at the cancer center and prioritized their relationship. Slowly but surely, they began to find their way back to each other. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of doubt and pain, but they were both committed to making it work. They rediscovered the love that had brought them together and built a stronger foundation for their future. As they stood on the beach one evening, watching the sun set over the Pacific, Ethan felt a sense of hope for the first time in months. He wrapped his arm around Ava, pulling her close. "We've been through a lot," he said softly. "But I believe we can get through this together." Ava rested her head on his shoulder, a tear of relief slipping down her cheek. "Thank you for giving us another chance, Ethan. I love you." "I love you too, Ava," Ethan replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "And I'm willing to fight for us, no matter what." As the waves lapped at their feet and the sky turned a brilliant shade of pink, Ethan and Ava stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their journey was far from over, but they were determined to navigate it hand in hand, with love and trust guiding their way. Ethan and Ava's commitment to rebuilding their relationship brought a mix of hope and trepidation. The journey to reconciliation was fraught with challenges, but both were determined to make it work. They attended couples counseling twice a week, each session revealing new layers of their emotions and unspoken fears. One evening, after a particularly intense counseling session, they sat in their living room, the silence heavy between them. Ethan broke the silence, his voice soft but steady. "I appreciate how hard you're working on this, Ava. I know it's not easy." Ava looked up, her eyes reflecting both gratitude and sorrow. "Thank you, Ethan. I'm trying my best. I know I hurt you deeply, and I'm so sorry." Ethan nodded, reaching for her hand. "We'll get through this together." Despite their efforts, the road to forgiveness was not smooth. Ethan found it difficult to let go of the images and thoughts that haunted him. He often wondered if Ava was truly committed to their future or if she would fall back into old habits. One night, as they lay in bed, Ethan voiced his fears. "Ava, do you ever think about him? About Liam?" Ava turned to face him, her expression earnest. "No, Ethan. I've cut all ties with him. He was a mistake, a terrible mistake, and I'm focused on us now." Ethan searched her eyes, hoping to find the truth in them. "I want to believe you, Ava. I really do. But it's hard." Ava's eyes filled with tears. "I understand. I'll keep proving myself to you every day, Ethan. I'll earn back your trust." Their counseling sessions began to yield breakthroughs. Dr. Matthews, their therapist, guided them through exercises that fostered communication and understanding. One session focused on forgiveness and what it truly meant. "Forgiveness isn't about forgetting," Dr. Matthews explained. "It's about letting go of the resentment and the desire for retribution. It's about choosing to move forward together." Ethan listened intently, his mind racing. Could he truly let go of the resentment that had built up inside him? Could he choose to move forward with Ava, despite the betrayal? After the session, as they walked to their car, Ava took Ethan's hand. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes, Ethan. I hope you know that." Ethan squeezed her hand, a small but significant gesture. "I know, Ava. And I'm trying." One of the hardest aspects of their journey was rebuilding trust. Ethan needed to know that Ava was being honest with him, and Ava needed to feel that Ethan could trust her again. They set boundaries and agreed to be completely transparent with each other. Ava voluntarily shared her schedule, making sure Ethan knew where she was at all times. She also gave him access to her phone and social media accounts, a gesture meant to show her commitment to rebuilding trust. Ethan, in turn, worked on being less suspicious and more open. He attended individual counseling sessions to address his feelings of betrayal and to learn how to cope with them in a healthy way. One evening, as they sat on the porch, Ethan shared a moment of vulnerability. "It's hard, Ava. Sometimes I feel like I'm constantly on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop." Ava nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. "I know, Ethan. And I'm here for you. We're in this together." As the months passed, Ethan and Ava began to rediscover each other. They made an effort to spend quality time together, rekindling the connection that had brought them together in the first place. They went on dates, explored new hobbies, and even took a weekend getaway to a cozy cabin in the mountains. During one of their weekend getaways, as they sat by the fire, Ethan felt a sense of peace wash over him. "I missed this, Ava. Just being with you, without all the distractions." Ava smiled, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "I missed it too, Ethan. I missed us." They spent the evening talking, laughing, and reminiscing about their early days together. It was a reminder of why they had fallen in love in the first place, and it gave them hope for the future. Physical intimacy had been a significant part of their relationship, and the betrayal had created a barrier between them. They worked with Dr. Matthews to rebuild their physical connection, taking small steps to regain the intimacy they had lost. One evening, as they lay in bed, Ava reached out to Ethan, her touch gentle and tentative. "Can we try to be close again?" she asked, her voice filled with vulnerability. Ethan looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity in them. He nodded, his heart aching with a mix of longing and fear. "Yes, Ava, we can try." They took things slowly, rediscovering the physical connection that had once been so natural between them. Each touch, each kiss was a step towards healing, a reminder of the love that still existed beneath the pain. Ethan and Ava's journey to reconciliation was marked by significant milestones. The first time Ethan felt genuine trust again, the first time Ava felt truly forgiven, and the first time they both realized they could move forward without the shadow of the past looming over them. One such milestone was their anniversary. Ethan had planned a special evening to celebrate their progress and to renew their commitment to each other. He prepared a candlelit dinner, complete with all of Ava's favorite dishes. As they sat down to eat, Ethan raised his glass. "To us, Ava. To the love we've rediscovered and the future we're building together." Ava's eyes filled with tears of joy. "To us, Ethan. I love you more than words can express." They toasted to their renewed love and the journey they had undertaken together. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to their resilience and determination to make their marriage work. With their relationship on a stronger footing, Ethan and Ava began to look towards the future. They talked about their dreams and aspirations, making plans for new adventures and experiences. One evening, as they walked along the beach, Ava brought up a topic that had been on her mind. "Ethan, do you still want to have children?" Ethan smiled, his heart swelling with love for her. "Yes, Ava, I do. I want to build a family with you." Ava's face lit up with joy. "Me too, Ethan. I think we're ready." They began making plans to start a family, excited about the new chapter they were about to embark on. It was a symbol of their renewed commitment and the hope they had for the future. As they stood on the beach, watching the waves crash against the shore, Ethan felt a sense of peace he hadn't felt in a long time. He wrapped his arm around Ava, pulling her close. "We've come a long way," he said softly. "I'm proud of us." Ava rested her head on his shoulder, a tear slipping down her cheek. "I'm proud of us too, Ethan. I love you." "I love you too, Ava," Ethan replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "And I'm ready for whatever the future holds, as long as we're together." As the sun set over the Pacific, casting a golden glow over the water, Ethan and Ava stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their journey was far from over, but they were determined to navigate it hand in hand, with love and trust guiding their way. Ethan and Ava's journey towards reconciliation had brought them closer, but the road ahead was still fraught with challenges. As they continued to rebuild their relationship, they faced new trials that tested their commitment and resilience. One crisp autumn morning, Ethan and Ava sat in their living room, sipping coffee and discussing their plans for the day. The air was filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee and the sound of leaves rustling outside. "I've been thinking," Ava began, her voice tentative. "Maybe it's time for a change. A fresh start." Ethan looked up from his coffee, intrigued. "What kind of change?" "I've been offered a position at a new cancer center in San Francisco," Ava said, her eyes searching Ethan's for a reaction. "It would mean moving, but it could be a great opportunity for us to start over." Ethan considered her words carefully. San Francisco, huh? It's a big move, but maybe you're right. A fresh start could be just what we need. Ava smiled, relief washing over her. Really? You think so? Yeah, Ethan said, reaching for her hand. I think we can make it work. Together. The decision to move to San Francisco marked a significant turning point in their journey. They spent the next few weeks packing up their belongings, saying goodbye to friends, and preparing for the new chapter in their lives. Their new home was a charming apartment in the heart of San Francisco, with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge. The city's vibrant energy and diverse culture provided a refreshing change from their life in Santa Monica. As they settled into their new home, Ethan and Ava embraced the opportunity to explore their surroundings. They spent weekends visiting iconic landmarks, sampling local cuisine, and immersing themselves in the city's unique atmosphere. The move to San Francisco brought a renewed sense of trust and closeness between Ethan and Ava. They continued to attend couples counseling, now with a new therapist who specialized in helping couples navigate major life transitions. One evening, after a particularly insightful session, they walked hand in hand through Golden Gate Park, the setting sun casting a golden hue over the landscape. I feel like we're really making progress, Ava said, her voice filled with hope. I'm so grateful for everything you've done to make this work, Ethan. Ethan smiled, squeezing her hand. Me too, Ava. We've come a long way, and I'm proud of us. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and they found themselves falling in love all over again. The trust they had rebuilt was a testament to their dedication and the strength of their love. Despite the positive changes in their personal lives, Ethan and Ava faced new challenges at work. Ava's new position at the cancer center was demanding, requiring long hours and intense focus. Ethan's restoration business, while successful, faced stiff competition in the bustling city. One evening, as they sat down to dinner, Ethan voiced his concerns. I've been thinking about expanding the business, he said, his brow furrowed with thought. There's a lot of potential here, but I need to find a way to stand out. Ava nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. I understand, Ethan. It's a big city, and competition is tough. But I believe in you. You have a unique talent, and people will recognize that. Ethan smiled, grateful for her support. Thanks, Ava. It means a lot to hear you say that. They brainstormed ideas for expanding the business, from offering specialized restoration services to partnering with local architects and designers. Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination, knowing that he had Ava by his side. With their careers on track, Ethan and Ava turned their attention to starting a family. They visited fertility specialists and began the process of trying to conceive. The journey was filled with hope and anticipation, but also moments of uncertainty and frustration. One rainy afternoon, as they sat in a cozy cafe, Ava expressed her fears. What if it doesn't happen for us, Ethan? What if we can't have children? Ethan reached across the table, taking her hand in his. We'll cross that bridge if we come to it, Ava. But right now, let's focus on the positive. We have each other, and we'll figure it out together. Ava smiled through her tears, feeling reassured by his words. You're right. We'll face whatever comes our way, together. Just when they thought they had prepared for every possibility, life threw them a curveball. Ava's pregnancy test came back positive, and the news filled them with joy and excitement. We're going to be parents, Ava exclaimed, tears of happiness streaming down her face. Ethan pulled her into a tight embrace, his heart bursting with love. I can't believe it. This is the best news ever. They spent the next few months preparing for the arrival of their baby, decorating the nursery and attending prenatal classes. The anticipation of becoming parents brought them even closer, strengthening their bond and reaffirming their commitment to each other. However, Ava's pregnancy wasn't without complications. She experienced severe morning sickness and fatigue, and there were moments when they feared for the baby's health. Despite the challenges, Ethan remained steadfast by her side, offering unwavering support and encouragement. One particularly difficult night, as Ava lay in bed, tears streaming down her face, Ethan sat beside her, holding her hand. We're going to get through this, Ava. I promise. Ava looked up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude and love. Thank you, Ethan. I don't know what I'd do without you. Ethan kissed her forehead, his voice filled with determination. You're not alone, Ava. We're in this together. The day finally arrived when Ava went into labor. Ethan rushed her to the hospital, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. After hours of intense labor, their baby girl was born, filling the room with her first cries. Ethan looked at Ava, tears of joy streaming down his face. "She's beautiful, Ava, just like her mother." Ava smiled weakly, her eyes filled with love as she held their newborn daughter. "We did it, Ethan. We're a family." They named their daughter Lily, a symbol of purity and hope. As they held her in their arms, they felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and love. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had brought them to this moment of pure joy. Ethan and Ava embraced their new roles as parents with enthusiasm and dedication. They navigated the sleepless nights, the endless diaper changes, and the challenges of balancing work and family life. Despite the exhaustion, they found immense joy in watching Lily grow and thrive. One evening, as they sat in the nursery, rocking Lily to sleep, Ethan whispered to Ava, "This is everything I ever dreamed of, Ava. Thank you for being my partner in this journey." Ava smiled, her eyes filled with love. "Thank you, Ethan, for standing by me, for loving me, and for helping me become a better person." As they watched Lily sleep, they felt a profound sense of fulfillment and peace. They had faced countless trials and challenges, but their love had endured, growing stronger with each passing day. With their family complete, Ethan and Ava looked to the future with hope and excitement. They continued to nurture their relationship, making time for each other amidst the demands of parenthood and work. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they faced it with confidence and unwavering commitment. As they stood on the balcony of their apartment, watching the sun set over the Golden Gate Bridge, Ethan wrapped his arm around Ava, pulling her close. "We've come so far, Ava. I'm so proud of us." Ava rested her head on his shoulder, a tear of happiness slipping down her cheek. "I'm proud of us too, Ethan. I love you." "I love you too, Ava," Ethan replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "And I'm excited for whatever the future holds, as long as we're together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Ethan and Ava stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their journey had been filled with trials and triumphs, but their love had endured, guiding them through the darkest of times and into the light of a new beginning. Parenthood brought immense joy and challenges for Ethan and Ava. The sleepless nights and constant attention that Lily demanded were exhausting, but the joy of watching her grow and discover the world made every moment worthwhile. They worked as a team, supporting each other through the highs and lows. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, Ethan and Ava sat on the couch, both looking worn out but content. "She's finally asleep," Ava said with a tired smile. "I didn't think it was possible." Ethan chuckled, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "She's a handful, but she's our handful. I wouldn't trade this for anything." Ava leaned into him, feeling the warmth and comfort of his embrace. "Me neither. We're doing pretty well, don't you think?" "Yeah, we are," Ethan agreed. "It's not easy, but we're in this together." As they settled into their new roles as parents, Ethan and Ava also had to balance their demanding careers. Ava's position at the cancer center required long hours, while Ethan's restoration business continued to grow, thanks to his dedication and innovative ideas. One afternoon, Ava came home from work, looking exhausted. Ethan was in the kitchen, preparing dinner while keeping an eye on Lily, who was playing with her toys. "Hey, love," Ethan greeted her, giving her a quick kiss. "How was your day?" "Exhausting," Ava replied, sinking into a chair. "We had a particularly tough case today. I just wish I could do more for the patients." Ethan set the table and placed a plate of food in front of her. "You're doing an amazing job, Ava. Your patients are lucky to have you." Ava smiled, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Ethan. I don't know what I'd do without you." Life threw another curveball their way when Ethan's business faced a major setback. A project he had invested a significant amount of time and resources into fell through, leaving him with financial strain and a dent in his confidence. One evening, as they sat together after putting Lily to bed, Ethan confided in Ava. "I feel like I've failed, Ava. This project was supposed to take the business to the next level, and now we're struggling." Ava took his hand, her eyes filled with empathy. "You haven't failed, Ethan. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but that doesn't mean you give up. You're resilient, and I believe in you." Ethan sighed, feeling the weight of her words. "Thank you, Ava. I just don't want to let you or Lily down." "You won't," Ava assured him. "We'll get through this together, just like we've gotten through everything else." Despite the setbacks, Ethan and Ava's relationship continued to grow stronger. They made time for each other, ensuring that their bond remained a priority amidst the chaos of their busy lives. They scheduled regular date nights, even if it meant simply watching a movie at home after Lily was asleep. One evening, as they sat on the balcony, watching the city lights twinkle, Ava turned to Ethan. "Do you remember our first date?" Ethan smiled, a nostalgic look in his eyes. "Of course I do. We went to that little cafe by the beach and talked for hours. That was one of the best nights of my life," Ava said softly. "I felt an instant connection with you, like I had known you forever." Ethan took her hand, his voice filled with emotion. "And look at us now, Ava. We've built a life together, a family. I wouldn't change a thing." "Me neither," Ava replied, leaning in for a kiss. "I love you, Ethan." "I love you too, Ava," Ethan whispered, their foreheads touching as they soaked in the moment. Just as things seemed to be stabilizing, Ava received an unexpected job offer. A prestigious medical research institute in New York City had taken notice of her work and offered her a position that would advance her career significantly. It was an opportunity she couldn't ignore, but it came with the challenge of relocating once again. One evening, Ava nervously brought up the subject with Ethan. "Ethan, I received a job offer today. It's from the Thompson Research Institute in New York." Ethan looked at her, surprised. "New York? That's a big move, Ava. What do you think?" "It's an incredible opportunity," Ava admitted. "But I don't want to disrupt our lives again, especially with Lily." Ethan thought for a moment before speaking. "Ava, this is your dream. We've faced bigger challenges, and we've always come out stronger. If this is what you want, we'll make it work." Ava's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. "Thank you, Ethan. I'm so lucky to have you." "We're lucky to have each other," Ethan replied, hugging her tightly. "Let's do this together." The decision to move to New York was not easy, but it was made with mutual support and understanding. They packed up their lives once more, bidding farewell to San Francisco and embracing the bustling energy of New York City. Their new home was a spacious apartment overlooking Central Park, a stark contrast to their previous homes. The city's vibrancy and endless opportunities filled them with excitement and anticipation for the future. Ethan quickly found a niche for his restoration business in the city's historic neighborhoods, while Ava thrived in her new role at the Research Institute. They navigated the challenges of adjusting to a new city and balancing their demanding careers, always prioritizing their family and each other. Life in New York brought new challenges and opportunities for growth. Ava's job was demanding, often requiring late nights and weekend work. Ethan's business flourished, but the competition was fierce, pushing him to innovate and expand his services. One evening, as they sat in their living room, Ethan shared his latest business idea with Ava. "I'm thinking of opening a workshop to teach restoration techniques. There's a lot of interest, and it could be a great way to diversify." Ava's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds amazing, Ethan. You're so talented, and I know people would love to learn from you." Ethan smiled, feeling inspired by her support. "Thanks, Ava. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think it could be really rewarding." Despite their busy schedules, Ethan and Ava continued to support each other's dreams and aspirations. They made time for family outings, often taking Lily to Central Park or exploring the city's many attractions. One Saturday afternoon, as they watched Lily play on the swings, Ava turned to Ethan. "I'm so grateful for everything we've built together. We've faced so many challenges, but we've always come out stronger." Ethan nodded, his heart filled with love for her. "We're a team, Ava. And we always will be." As they watched Lily laugh and play, they felt a profound sense of fulfillment and joy. Their journey had been filled with trials and triumphs, but their love had endured, guiding them through every challenge and into a bright and hopeful future. With their relationship stronger than ever and their family thriving, Ethan and Ava looked to the future with hope and excitement. They continued to nurture their bond, always prioritizing their love and commitment to each other. As they stood on the rooftop of their apartment building, watching the city lights sparkle below, Ethan wrapped his arm around Ava, pulling her close. "We've come so far, Ava. I'm so proud of us." Ava rested her head on his shoulder, a tear of happiness slipping down her cheek. "I'm proud of us too, Ethan. I love you." "I love you too, Ava," Ethan replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "And I'm excited for whatever the future holds, as long as we're together." As the city buzzed with life around them, Ethan and Ava stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their journey had been filled with trials and triumphs, but their love had endured, guiding them through the darkest of times and into the light of a new beginning. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey through Betrayal and Redemption. The journey of a cheating wife and her forgiving husband. Ethan and Ava's story reminds us that even in the face of betrayal, love and forgiveness can pave the way to healing and new beginnings. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales that explore the depths of human emotions and relationships. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and stay tuned for our next heartfelt story. Until then, keep believing in the power of love and second chances.